What's up? I'm back. I've been on hiatus for the past last two shows.
Something like that.
So what is up, everybody? I'm Jalen. I'm back. Welcome to the Shot of Sports podcast. Grab a drink, a snack. This is your weekly dose of sports, where we'll break down and do a deep dive in the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. So go ahead, subscribe, share, even comment. We appreciate all the feedback. Hit the like button for us, and tap the notification bell on the right so you can be notified whenever we drop, so you won't miss one. Today we got on the show Chris Pittner. We just got Chris today. It's just me and Chris today. Everybody else had things to do. We're on a little later, so our availability is a little shot today. So hopefully this be on more on the shorter side. So how was your weekend?
It was good, but yeah, the life of a journalism mate or a journalist for all of us now, pretty much. We're all done with school. Sam is the only one who's really affiliated with Whitewater in any way, shape, or form at this point. But yeah, availability is nigh impossible for all of us. But my weekend was good. I attempted the 999 challenge yesterday,
What is
and
that?
9 beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings,
Wow.
and I came one hot dog short because we ran out.
Wow. I would have gotten sick and I would have been like, yeah, I'm good on that.
We got lucky, man. The hot dogs are small. That's all I'm gonna say. I
Mm-mm.
I would have had trouble otherwise. And I ran 9.5 miles beforehand, so my stomach was about as empty as it could possibly be. But yeah, we're doing good. Go back to work tonight. Excited to talk some sports. How are you
Awesome.
doing, Jalen?
I'm pretty good. Had a long, grueling week last week, getting ready for the season coming up. And I had to work at Nike as well, 12 to 9. So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I had to work that kind of shift. So it was kind of tough. So
Yeah, that's rough.
Um, I just know the season for us is about 3 weeks away. We start up September 21st. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. It's the end of the month, and then by then it'll be playoff baseball time. So it's here. The best time of sports is here. Football is here. It's gonna be postseason baseball all this month because everybody's fighting for positioning, and then you got basketball and hockey coming up.
I
So
mean, when all the big four sports are going, that's when it's peak viewing season.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So let's jump right into it. All right. So we have a college football recap. Um, we have some of the bigger games that we can talk about real quick. We had Ohio State obviously play Texas, and like I've seen some of you all were saying that Texas looked like the big better team before the game on Friday, and it was really something to see. Penn State just dog walked Nevada 46-11.
I mean, no shock there.
LSU took down Clemson 17-10, which was a very, very big surpriser to me. I just totally thought that, Clemson was going to take care of business, especially at the crib.
Dude,
Obviously,
we've been waiting for Clemson to become one of those upper echelon teams where they're like solidly in the top college football playoff contention conversation again. It just hasn't happened since Trevor Lawrence was there. It's been a little surprising, honestly, that they fell off for a little while. I thought that this was finally going to be their chance. Kate Klubnik coming into town. He's one of the top QB prospects. I mean, this loss doesn't say that they're done because they lost to another top 10 team, but I was expecting them to make a bit more of a statement on opening night.
Georgia 45-7. Obviously, there's no surprise there. Oregon 59-13. There's no surprise there. Alabama versus Florida State.
That was a
Now
surprise.
that was a very big surprise, and we have a video of what Nick Saban had to say about what he feels about Alabama and what they're doing right now. But all I can say is that wow, um, Florida State just might be back. Castellanos, he showed out. He backed up every word he said at his ACC media day. saying they don't have Nick Saban anymore. And they sure do not have Nick Saban anymore. That team looked totally different.
That team they're surprising to me because Kalen DeBoer, the coach that they hired there, was a good coach at Washington. He led them all the way to a national championship game, and he was one of the top available guys in the market last year, if not the best. So it just seemed logical that Alabama was going to continue being, the blue blood type team that we're used to them being, where they're going to be consistently in the CFP conversation, no matter what year it is, no matter who's on the team. They're going to find a way to eke it out. But it feels like in the last year or so, they've really started to slide downhill. Jalen Milroe did not look good for the most part last year, not up to what he could be as a player. They had a couple bad losses. Like last year, they went out to Oklahoma and lost 24-3. There's this game against Florida State. They're not off to as impressive of a start in the DeBoer era as I would have thought they could have been. But there's so much season left, and the committee loves Alabama, so their season's not over yet either.
Oh yeah, the committee's gonna always love Alabama, regardless who's the coach there, because of what they did. But I think they shouldn't, because Nick Saban isn't there anymore. So, hold on.
I think it's just based more off reps than anything, to be honest. And then it's funny to look at these results because you'll have some teams like Ohio State and Texas faced off. Two of the best teams, if not the two best teams in the country, facing off. And then you'll have USC beating Missouri State by 60 points. It's just funny how those bye games are so different versus the really competitive options. And that's why non-conference football is so fun, because you can just kind of schedule it however you want.
Of course. You also have Miami taking down Notre Dame on a last. Now, I ain't gonna say a last second field goal. It's about a minute left, but it was only so much you can do against a top 10 team in about a minute. So Notre Dame number 6 falls to number 10, Miami, the Hurricanes.
I'm not a big Carson Beck fan at all, but he did get it done in that game. You got to give him credit where credit's due. Notre Dame was one of the best teams in the country last year, and Carson Beck was able to take them down in week 1. Miami is kind of up and down in football. Last year, the last few years, they've been good because they had Cam Ward, and now they have Carson Beck. So the continuation seems to be good there, and they could easily be a playoff team this year if they keep that up.
Oh, yeah. We also have some video footage that might be the catch of the year already.
12 for 19 total. Under pressure, off his back foot, up for grabs, and caught! C.J. Daniels, a tremendous one-handed catch.
It almost seemed like the announcer was shocked that he actually caught it.
I think I would have too. Look at that.
It's it's not quite to the Odell level, but it's pretty. That's one of the better catches I think we've ever seen.
Full extension, running sideways, jumping up, full extension, grabbing one hand and falling in the end zone while fading away from it. That is insane.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
That's probably the catch of the year already. And here was the last minute field goal for them to win.
They have not trailed tonight. What a kick! Good! From 47.
Is that Reese Davis?
That was announcing that Sean McDonough.
Yeah, his voice is always cracking.
Dude, have you seen that clip? I think it was the Titans versus the Chiefs in the playoffs. Yep. Was he on the Michigan game too? I think the one where Michigan got the punt blocked versus Michigan State. I think it was him.
Yep, that was him.
And he had a really big voice crack in that too.
I remember that call like it was yesterday. I was watching. I was going crazy when they blocked.
Yeah, because you're a Michigan State. I forgot about that.
I was going crazy when that happened. And he blocked it. He was like, "Oh, it's blocked and it picked up by C.J. Jackson, and he scores." I was like, "Wow, what a last play of the game!" I was like, "Bro, your freaking voice is always cracking, man."
Dude, he does hockey too, and it's every time I watch a hockey game and he's announcing, I don't think he's a bad announcer. It's just funny
when his voice cracks. His voice cracks.
Yeah, it's funny to me.
I mean, he's a fantastic announcer, especially for hockey. I mean, he's the face. I mean, the hockey playoffs on ESPN always are electric, especially when he calls it. I think if somebody else was to try to give it a call, I don't think it would sound right because he's been on it so long and it just fits. His voice just fits for it.
I mean, for what it's worth, I also think on TNT, Kenny Albert did a pretty good job this
Yeah, yeah.
postseason too. I
You
think
can't
that
really
both of
move
them
those guys.
did. I mean, Doc Emmerich is a tough voice to top as well when it comes to hockey, but because like he's just kind of like the face of the NHL that way. But back to college football here. Yeah, it was a statement win for Miami for sure. One game I kind of want to talk about is the Bill Belichick disaster class yesterday with
Yeah,
North
48 to
Carolina.
14. We
Dude,
lost.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't see this move working whatsoever for him. I don't think his heart is in it. I think, I, to be honest, I forgot he even signed there until like 2 days ago, and like pretty much everything I've seen so far out of this is just it's spelling a disaster for me, and I don't see it working. I mean, they always talk about how like college coaches have a hard time adjusting to the NFL, except Jim Harbaugh. I think it might almost go the other way around too. Bill Belichick might struggle with the whole recruiting aspect and everything too, and just keeping a system where it's a bit more than what the NFL does in terms of you always have to be recruiting, you got to be constantly hitting the trail. I just don't know at his age that he'll be able to keep a pace like that.
I think if they would have started Max Johnson earlier, I think it could have been maybe a lot better for them. Because Max Johnson went 9 of 11 with 103 yards and a touchdown. Had a 95.8 QBR. Um, so he played pretty well, but Gio Lopez, the starter, went 4 for 10 with 69 yards and had a 1.9 QBR.
I mean, that's terrible, but I don't pin the offense as much on Bill as I do the defense because
Yeah,
Belichick's always been the defense guy. When he was in New England, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, whoever was running the offense, and Belichick was on the defense. And that's why the defense was so good because he was the defense guy. I don't understand how this defense is going to give up 48 points to an unranked TCU. If you want to be a serious contender, you need to be putting up a better performance than that.
if you're a North Carolina fan, you're pretty happy right now because you get to dodge Florida State and Louisville, but you do have Clemson, so that's an L. But they got Charlotte next week, then the week after Richmond, then the week after that UCF. So the next 3 weeks for them looks not bad. Next 3 weeks looks like they can handle those games. All the stars were in attendance last night, especially a lot of the big guys that went to North Carolina, like Michael Jordan was there, Lawrence Taylor was there, a couple others was there as well.
I
Couple
mean,
big
that's a
ones.
rough showing at home against TCU. TCU's another one of those teams where some years they're on and some years they're off. They made the national championship just a few years ago, but they got slaughtered, and I mean slaughtered by Georgia in that game.
I will say
I think the score was
TCU.
like 63-7.
I will
But
say. Go ahead.
I think North Carolina needed to put on a better performance, not only because all the celebrities were there, but because it was Bill Belichick's debut, and I don't think this reigns well for him at all. The
No,
fact
no.
that they're losing by, and even if they come back a little bit, whatever, they were down 41-7 at one point. Like, come on, you need to be better than that. And this isn't even a ranked team that they're playing against. Imagine what Ohio State could do to them.
Yeah, you could say that, but I think TCU should be a ranked team. They had a quarterback who broke the single season passing record last year, and he
I
came
mean, they
back and he
probably will
was
be ranked after this week, I would think, just because they beat them so badly. And there's teams in the top 25 that didn't look impressive too, like Iowa,
Boise
for
State
example.
lost.
Yeah, Iowa played a very Iowa game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like 100 passing yards against a
170
mediocre to
rushing
bad opponent.
yards.
Yep, and they're gonna win 34-7.
Right. So like, yeah, I think TCU is a lot better than what they look like, what they are, or what people are saying they are. But but I will say that their quarterback is the truth. I mean, what's his name? Josh Hoover. He passed for like 2,000 yards last year, 3,000 yards.
I mean,
No, he actually
that
passed for
definitely
3,949 yards last year with a
he had a
with a
big
rating of
game yesterday, that's for
151.
sure.
Yeah. He passed for
But yeah,
284 yards on 27 completion, 2 touchdowns, interception, and a 154-yard rating, 154 QBR rating. So he played very well, 75 completion rate. So he might be one of those quarterbacks that get looked at in the draft this season. I'm not saying he's going to be a Heisman candidate because I think that Tommy Castellanos is the Heisman at this moment in time. But it's only week 1. You really won't really look at
there's
Heisman
so
until
much that's
around.
going to happen between now and the end of the season.
Yeah. You don't really look at Heisman until around week 5. So,
I got a question for you because we the biggest game on Saturday was undeniably Texas Ohio
yep.
State.
And
Are
we're
you
gonna get
worried
right
about
back
Arch
into that.
Manning? Are you worried about Arch Manning?
Well, in a moment, I was just pissed off and he sucks, all of that stuff. But, my honest opinion, it's early. It's very early. Week 1, his first game that he ever starts is against the defending national champions, which I think that he should have played better against because they don't have the same roster as they did last year. But
I do want to add though that Ohio State's defense, it didn't used to be like a really solid unit. It always used to be just their offense.
Yep.
And then like guys like Nick and Joey Bosa, Chase Young were on the defense too, but they were still prone to giving up big games every once in a while. This defense is so incredible that they've assembled the last few years. No one scores on them. And it makes it so tough to beat them. And I think that's why they kind of went from the team that's like fighting for a playoff spot or makes it in and loses in the semis or in the national championship to winning one last year. It was the defense just being so solid and the offense having great receivers as well.
Of course, yeah, 1,000%. You got. I just think it's still early for him. He didn't play well at all. He picked it up in the second half, but you can't wait till the second half to play well.
I mean, against the number 1 team in the country, even if they only score 14 points, you need to be able to score 15.
That's what's surprising to me the most as well about Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith had like 2 or 3 drops, and they just didn't look like that offensive juggernaut because they should have won this game by 30 the way that Texas played. And
I mean, I'm still not concerned about them whatsoever. It's week 1, things happen, and they're gonna probably. Let me look at their schedule real quick. I know
while you look at the schedule,
they have their 2 bye games after this, where they just play teams that they're gonna beat by 50, and those are the games where you can kind of tighten up on those drops and stuff like that, and test things out. They have a new quarterback this year. He's a freshman, I believe, because. Will Howard last year is gone. So yeah, they have a new quarterback.
Here's what Archie.
They don't really have another tough test, in my opinion, until October 11th or week 5 when they play against Illinois. And then after that, their schedule picks up a little bit, but they have a lot. Their conference schedule, besides Michigan and Illinois, is not tough at all. They're easily going to win most of those games. Penn State's going to be a challenge, but they seem to have their number too.
Here's what Manning had to say after the game.
It seemed like you settled in as the game went on. How would you assess your play and kind of the growth that you got from the 6 games?
Yeah, ultimately not good enough. Obviously, you don't want to start off the season 0-1. They're a good team, but I thought we beat ourselves a lot, and that starts with me, and I got to play better for us to win. Can't wait till the second half to kind of get things going.
I think it's good on him to take accountability for not playing well. It's easy as like, he's still a kid. He's what, 20, 21 maybe right now? I'm not sure. I'd have to fact check it, but he's only a junior. And the fact that he's able to take accountability for his poor play in that game shows a lot, and that he's willing to work and get better. And I respect that about him, because it's easy for him to just lash out at a reporter or something like that at that age and just kind of either trash the reporter, trash his teammates, trash everything. But he took accountability, and I got to respect that for him.
Yeah, we do have to I will say he's a very humble kid. They said that a lot when he was on campus. He's a very humble kid. The minute he arrived there, he was a very humble kid. So we'll jump into this last thing about college football and Florida State and Alabama. We do have Nick Saban talking about it.
What they did last year, that creates the expectation for this year. But, obviously for me and for a lot of the Bama fans, the disappointment that Florida State dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Yep. But the good news is every team has the best opportunity to improve from week 1 to week 2. Because really going into the season, you don't really know what you have for sure as a coach. And you're always very anxious about what might happen in the first game. And I'm sure they're all disappointed, players, coaches alike. But they do have a great chance to improve from week 1 to week 2. That's when you usually make the biggest improvement. LSU, Miami, and Ohio State all really impressed me. But I think Texas, Notre Dame, and Clemson all have a really good chance to have great teams this year, too, if they make the progress they're capable.
I think that's a good take because, we see in the NFL sometimes too. The Packers in 2021 finished 13-4, but they lost their first game 38-3. That just happens sometimes. Like you can have rough performances in week 1 and still be a good team. I think that if we react too harshly on anyone right now, it's exactly that. It's an overreaction because week 1, it's important, but for some of those guys, no one has tape on them yet. No one has any information about the player, how the new system, if there's a new coach or something, you're getting used to it. Your opponents are still getting used to it. There's no tape on you yet. So it's hard to say what you're actually going to be able to do, and game planning that way is so much harder.
Yeah, 1,000%. I do believe that it's something. So we're going to jump right into our next topic, which is we got NFL is here.
We're back, baby.
It's back, so everybody's fantasy draft should have been completed by now. If not, then you have the rest.
Man, I had 3 of them on Sunday night. That was a long 3 hours, I have to say.
So if you haven't done your fantasy football, get to it quickly because the season starts on Thursday with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to talk about Sunday's matchups because I know that and Nas may talk about it. We might talk about it on Friday with Nas on a little bit about Sunday's matchups too, but we'll have a little more understanding. We'll have we'll have a game already done by then, and we'll know what it'll look like by the defending champs too. So, if you haven't done your fantasy football stuff, get to it because you have till Thursday to pretty much do it. I had a draft last night with the Utah Jazz and our coworkers over there.
We had our Hawk Talk draft on Sunday.
And then I
gotta pull up my team again. How are you feeling about yours?
I'm really confident in my team. I feel really good. I will say that having the 10th pick and what I've got, I'm very actually pleased with. I can't really complain about that. My first pick, I had the 10th pick. I had to take Ashton Jeanty, which was
that's fair.
I had to.
There's a lot of upside there for him for sure.
He's going to get a lot of carries because of Marshawn Lynch and what he did with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's going to use him a lot, and he can catch out of the backfield too. So that was a big pickup for me. I wanted CeeDee Lamb badly, but he wasn't going to drop to 10.
I got CeeDee in 2 of my 4 leagues. I got JJ in 3 of my 4 leagues, and it's purely just based off draft slot that I was in. I had the 6th pick in 3 different leagues.
I got George Pickens later on in the rounds, so I had got a really good backup. I will say that. But my 2 wide receivers are Devontae Adams and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I feel Jackson Smith was a little underrated. He fell very far in our draft because I just don't think people really value what he is yet. But you seeing what Sam Darnold did last year with Jettas and what Jordan Addison did, he's clearly the number 1 in Seattle. And for Jackson Smith to drop that far, that could be a steal of the draft. I can't say
Yeah,
that.
I want to say it was either this draft or a different one where I think you might have been like a couple picks ahead of me and you picked him, and I was gonna go for him in the same round. But
Okay.
I was able to snag Jaden Daniels for my quarterback. I'm not the biggest like Jaden Daniels fan per se, but I appreciate his value, and I think he's a really good fantasy quarterback for sure. Devon Chan and Travion Henderson are my top two running backs. Although I drafted what's his name? Jaden Blue from the Cowboys, who's a rookie. He's on my bench. Quinshawn Judkins auto drafted onto my bench as well. And I have Cam Scatterboo on my bench. Last year I just drafted a bunch of rookies and I ended up winning the league because of all the rookies like Brian Thomas Jr., Chase Brown. I don't know if he was a rookie last year. He's either a rookie or a second year guy. I got JJ, Jameson Williams. I also have Tyler Warren and Roma Dunze as like my skill players. So yeah, I'm feeling good too. I don't think my team's nearly as good as it was last year, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so my second pick, I went with Josh Allen. I had to get him because I had the 10th pick. And I don't think he would have fell to me in the third round. But I had to get him. That was my guy. I got him in 2 drafts. So in the 2 drafts, the 2 leagues that I'm in, I had to get him because, I mean, if you look at it, he's not just a fantasy quarterback. He's a running back too. He
Yeah.
vultures a lot of touchdowns by rushing. So if he's passing for 2 touchdowns and he runs in a third, that's a lot of points. So I'm like,
Yeah, I had Josh Allen last year, and I'm sad that I wasn't able to draft him this year. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get him in any of my leagues. I took Lamar over him in one league because I had the 1 pick, and the scoring is weird. So drafting a quarterback in the first round is standard in that league.
Mm-hmm.
In all my other leagues, everyone just got Josh Allen before I did because the second one person picked a quarterback, everyone picked a quarterback. That's just how it goes. I call it the QB panic.
Yeah, because you want to get that you want to get your quarterback. That's the key. You getting your quarterback will set you apart, depending on how good of a quarterback you got. You can fill out your roster with all kinds of wide receivers and running backs, but that's neither here nor there. We'll leave that for fantasy football talk maybe one of these days and things like that. But we'll jump into our schedule that we have. So there's the schedule. There's the week 1 schedule. You got the Raiders and Patriots. That Thursday game right there, the top part, and that Thursday and Friday game, Thursday Cowboys versus Eagles and Chiefs versus Chargers on Friday. We're going to talk about that next pod because, that's literally the day of, So
I mean, we got a lot of good games here. I mean, even like the lower tier games, I think Carolina and Jacksonville is going to be a really interesting matchup between those 2 teams. Tampa and Atlanta is going to be fun specifically because it's a rivalry game, and last year they played each other really well. I don't know if you remember that week 5 game between the 2 teams last year where I forget who walked it off I think it was for the Falcons. It might have been Drake London, but it was a really good game either way. Kirk Cousins had a huge outburst that game. Baltimore versus Buffalo probably is the game of the week, followed by Detroit and Green Bay. I think the Monday night game between the Bears and the Vikings is also going to be really fun to watch too.
I'm looking forward to that Steelers and Jets game a little bit. I want to see how Justin Fields looks and how Aaron Rodgers look. I'm not saying I'm going to sit that. That might be the best game all morning. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, in the 12 o'clock window, those games definitely aren't quite what the 4:25 games are. There's only a couple games here that I feel like are a definite miss when it comes to scheduling. Whoever plays against New Orleans this year, that's just going to be probably a boring game, I would think, just because New Orleans just is not a good team. There's not a lot of talent on that roster. And what the talent that they have besides Chris Olave is aging already.
The one game I don't think no one cares about is that Raiders and Patriots game, probably. I don't think no one really cares about that. Those 2 teams aren't supposed to be that good.
Well, I would disagree on that specifically because Ashton Genty is going to be making his debut. So there's a storyline there. The Patriots, Are they going to be good this year? Probably not, but they do have some guys that could make at least a little bit of noise and cause headaches for some of the better teams.
Yeah,
I think they're still a year away, but they're definitely making steps in the right direction.
I would say overall game out of the week, out of the whole game, though, I think that is the lowest bar game because of because of team. The Dolphins. That's something that you're going to see a high level of offense with that game because you got Tyreek Hill playing in it, and then you got Jonathan Taylor for the Colts in it. So you're going to have some kind of offense in that game. And say what you want about the Saints. I mean, they still got Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. So they're going to be trying to make a little threat, especially against the Cardinals team that are trying to figure out and try to show are they going to be worthy this season. So really, I think out of all of the game slate, probably the lowest bar game, and by default, is the Raiders and Patriots. So
I think it's either that or, Giants Commanders is probably, unless Russ is better than
that's what I'm saying. Like you got Russ and Neighbors.
He has Malik Neighbors to throw to, which you can basically just throw it up and he'll get to it. They have Cam Scatterboo now too, so their backfield might be improved a little bit.
And then
I think that Browns Bengals game. Yeah, Abdul Carter on defense too. Yeah, I forgot to mention him. But I think that Broncos Titans game and the Browns Bengals games are not going to be particularly close. I think the Bengals are going to put that one away pretty early. That Browns team, I don't know what they're trying to do with the quarterback position. I think Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel, there's a chance one of them is going to be starting by midseason. I just don't think Joe Flacco is the answer at the age of 40.
He knows he's just there to be the veteran and take up the first.
That's fine, but I just don't think he should be the starter, and they should have had a more concrete plan on what they were going to do.
Right. But looking toward that Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens schedule, game that's going to be something. That's like another AFC Championship preview. I think that's going to be an AFC Championship preview because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be as good as they say they are, but they do have Patrick Mahomes, and they always really, they always seem to always be around. They always seem to just get there when that they're not that good because of Patrick Mahomes, but.
I think at this point, the Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes in particular is in the really good game manager phase of his career. You remember how Tom Brady was towards the end of his career where he just get wins. He might not have had the flashiest performances every week, which he did sometimes, but he knew how to win games and he knew how to control the clock, and he just became such a good game manager. If he's getting the ball with 2 minutes left, it doesn't matter if they have 7 points or 70. He's getting down the field and he's scoring.
Yeah, so
and for that reason, I think some people are giving up on the Chiefs a little bit too easily just because of their pathetic performance in the Super Bowl. And that's fair because they did not play well whatsoever in that game. And they're deserving of they escaped by the skin of their teeth a lot last year, but I think some of that comes down to the fact that Mahomes is just so good at managing late game situations too. But going back to that Buffalo-Baltimore game, who's at home for that? Is that the Bills, I'm assuming that is at home?
Which one?
The Bills-Baltimore game. If I'm reading this right, that would make sense.
You say which one starts? Who's the?
I think Buffalo's at home, right?
Yeah, Buffalo's at home. Yeah.
Man, that game's about as much of a toss-up in my eyes as you could possibly have. I think talent-wise, Baltimore has a bit of an advantage just because of how stacked both sides of the ball are for them, and I think the Bills aren't quite as stacked on defense as the Ravens are. But Josh Allen, you can never count him out, and they're in Buffalo, so the crowd's going to be crazy for week 1. It's a huge game. Man, I don't know who I give the edge to in this one. I think I'm still going to say Baltimore, but it's going to be like a razor-thin margin. It's going to be like a 24-22 game or something like that.
True. So the one game I want to look at is that Monday game for the Bears and Vikings. I'm not sure what to expect out of that.
I don't know how to predict this one.
I don't know how to predict that one.
I don't know. Well, my thing is, I don't know what the Bears are going to look like. That's like the wild card for me. I think the Vikings will be fine this year with JJ McCarthy. I know there's some people that are really low on them specifically because he's the starter. I don't think they're going to be a bad team at all. There's just too much talent on that roster for them not to be good, especially with the skill position players. Once Addison comes back too, man, that offense is going to be in business. But I mean, the wild card is Chicago. I just don't know how good Chicago is going to be because they were so close to being an above average team last year, but they found ways to lose. And they say good teams find ways to win and bad teams find ways to lose. And unfortunately for Chicago, the Bears found ways to lose last year. And that it's tough because they have a new head coach this year, whole new system. It's a lot more complex. Ben Johnson comes from the Dan Campbell tree, which means he's got elephant balls. So he's probably going to be going for a lot of fourth downs, a lot of creative play calls, I would think. So if nothing else, it's probably going to be a really fun game to watch.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's pick scores, starting with the Raiders and the Patriots.
I got New England 20.
Well, I ain't
Raiders
gonna say pick
17.
scores, just say who's gonna win. Rather, my bad.
I got New England by 3.
I
don't think New England is going to be bad at all this year. I want to put that out there.
I just don't know how he's gonna look with the new offensive scheme. If it was last year, I would pick the Patriots, but I'm not sure how he looks, and I haven't really seen too much footage on training camp with him. So I'm probably
Drake
gonna
May's
go.
not a very notable quarterback. Like he's not a guy that's going to make headlines, but he wasn't bad last year either.
I'm gonna just take the Raiders. I'll take the Raiders in that one. Dolphins, Colts. Dolphins.
I got Miami.
Yeah.
I don't like Indy at all this year. I mean, they're a quarterback away from being at least even in contention in my eyes. Like they're okay.
Giants,
And
Commanders. Go ahead.
I got Commies.
Commanders, yep. Bengals, obviously Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals.
Browns,
That's
Bengals.
not even really a question.
Titans, Broncos, obviously Broncos. We go Lions and Packers.
I think I'm gonna have to go Detroit here specifically because Green Bay in week 1, with the exception of the year they played against Chicago, is not known to be. They're always pretty loose in week 1, and that's not loose in a bad way. A lot of false starts, a lot of holdings, a lot of easy mistakes that need to be tightened up. And I think that it's not going to be any different this year. I got Detroit just for that reason. I think Parsons might even struggle a little bit just because it's the first ever game in a new system for him. So I think Detroit's going to take it by maybe 7, if I had to guess.
Steelers, Jets. Steelers.
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about either of those teams either.
I don't know how the Jets look yet with Justin Fields. I want to say Justin Fields is going to win that game, but I think Steelers are going to win it because they already got a quarterback that we know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Saints.
Pittsburgh's defense is so good too, so that's another thing. There's so much talent on that defense. But yeah, I got Cardinals in this one.
Cardinals, obviously. Panthers, Jaguars. That's a good one.
Now, this is going to be a fun one.
I'm going to take the Jags.
I think I'm with you, but it's going to be – I think this game is pretty much a toss-up. These are two teams that have the potential – I think Jacksonville more so than Carolina this year, but both have the potential to make some noise.
Oh, yeah. Just because I think Travis Hunter is going to be an impact in that game. Especially his first week, I think he's going to be a real impact. Buccaneers, Falcons, I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah.
49ers and Seahawks, I'm taking the Seahawks in that one.
I got the Niners. I think some people are sleeping too hard on the Niners this year. I think they're going to be not quite back to what they used to be in terms of 13-3, but I think they're good enough to be a playoff team this year.
Right. Texans and Rams. I'm gonna take the Texans.
I got the Rams here as long as Stafford is healthy. That's the key. Is if Matthew Stafford is injured or out, I got to go with Houston. But if not, I think there's two really good receivers on that team and a darn good running back that are going to carry them to the victory.
Ravens and Bills. Now this is the hardest game of the week.
I shared that I still think Baltimore is gonna eke it out.
I would pick Baltimore if they were at home this year, like they were when they were playing a divisional round. But I'm gonna take the Bills because they're at home. Just because they're at home.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not gonna fault you for taking one way or the other on this one because both sides have a
we know
case.
Nazir probably go crazy, so he would go crazy. But the Vikings and the Bears.
This, I think, is the hardest one to predict of all of them. This one, or maybe Pittsburgh and New York. I think that's another tough one to predict. And then obviously Green Bay, Detroit. But I think I'm going to go Minnesota by a field goal in this game, but it's going to be really close the whole way.
I don't want to. Wow. I just think Minnesota's better than the Bears right now. I don't know how Caleb Williams looks with Ben Johnson. We've seen flashes of what he did in preseason, but that's preseason.
I mean, yeah, preseason is preseason. The 0-16 Lions were 3-0 in preseason.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Vikings in this one. I just don't know if the Bears are there yet. Yes, there's a lot to look forward to. Yes, we are happy to see what we got with Ben Johnson, but I just don't see what yet. We don't know how it looks. So
I mean, the thing about Chicago is too, they got a lot of their core locked down for a couple years.
Yeah,
so a lot of these guys are going to be around next year and the year after that. So this year doesn't have to be the year, I guess, for the Bears. If it is for them, good for them. But it doesn't have to be because a lot of these guys are still going to be around for at least 1 or 2 more years.
Right.
This could almost be like the building block year.
So we're going to jump into our last topic very quickly here. We have the MLB playoffs is in a month. In 1 month, we have the playoffs starting. We all know what the bracket looks like. Nothing much really has changed much since we last talked about it. Cubs are getting hot. They're getting hot. I like that.
The Cubs have a very favorable schedule going forward, and that plays well for them.
Yes.
Do I think they can catch the Brewers? That's the question.
That's the key. Well, that is the question.
I mean, because the Brewers have been playing middling baseball for about 20 games now, and the Cubs are kind of in the same boat. They had a really rough series against the Giants. I think if they would have taken 2 out of 3, and they're only down 3.5 right now instead of 5.5, I think they overtake the Brewers. But right now, I think it might just be a bit too insurmountable for them at this point.
It would change everything if the Cubs end up sweeping the Braves. They sweep the Braves, and the Brewers lose the series to the Phillies.
I mean, the Brewers had the game yesterday in their hands, and they fumbled it.
Yeah. Well, that's just the Phillies. That's just the Phillies. I said that's the Phillies. That's a really good baseball team. I said from August 15th through September 4th, the Brewers will have probably the toughest schedule in baseball.
Well, not only that, it's not that their schedule was super tough. It's the fact that they had to play all those games on no rest. Yeah. They played 19 games in 18 days, and a lot of the starters weren't going deep into games either. Shelby Miller hurt his elbow yesterday out of the pen, so that's another pen arm that's gone for the Brewers. They added Craig Yoho back up to the big league roster, who's basically Devin Williams changeup, but without any of the command that makes Devin Williams so filthy. Yoho has a lot of work to do. He's a really good AAA pitcher right now, but his big leagues skill set still leaves a lot to be desired in the limited time that we've seen him this year. However, this team, they finally get their rest day today. And they need the starters to start going deeper into games. We've actually gotten 6 innings from Freddie Peralta in like 4 of his last 5 starts. But guys like Jacob Mizorowski haven't been able to eat up innings like they're supposed to. Jose Quintana is inconsistent with eating up innings too. So this bullpen has been taxed and worked tirelessly over the last 19 games and 18-day stretch because the starters are only going 4 1/3, 5 innings. They need to be able to provide more time on the mound than that because they're working themselves into bad situations with counts. They're getting 2 guys on with 1 out, and then they have to work their way out of jams. And that leaves the bullpen. Trevor McGill is injured now too. He's on the IL for a little while. So this team on the offensive end are getting their bats back. Churio came back. Hoskins is on the way back soon. And they at least have that going for them. But they've had some tough losses over the last week or two where they definitely could have been wins.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the way the nature of baseball works. I mean, you also got the Padres at the end of the month, and then you got the Reds again at the end of the month, and then you got the Rangers as well. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough September. But
I will say that I think the heart, like once this Philly series is over, the true heart of like the toughest part of their schedule is gone. Because you got the Cubs for all those games. You got out of it. You lost 3 out of 5, but you took 2 out of 5. The Cubs only gained 1 game in the division there, which is okay. Like at the end of the day, the Cubs, I think, consider it a successful series because they won 3. And the Brewers, all they wanted to do was get out of Wrigley with 2. And I think both teams came out of that at least somewhat happy with how they did. Then there were a lot of other tough games in there. Cincinnati on the road is never easy just because Great American Ballpark can get pretty rowdy sometimes. They had the Mets, I think, at the start of that stretch, which even if the Mets are cold, there's still a lot of talent on that team that can turn it on at any point.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Mets, they won last night. Juan Soto had I think his 3rd career grand slam of his career.
I mean, the Mets are getting hot again. That's all I have to say. The concern with the Mets, though, is the pitching. The bats have been on fire as of late, but the pitching has left a lot to be desired this season.
So with that, you got, the same playoff picture didn't really change at all. Still the same the last time we talked about it, but it did change it only changed a little bit on the AL side. The Tigers overtook the best record in the AL by a half game over the Blue Jays, and the Yankees are now back at the top of the they're back at the top of the AL wild card by a full game over the Red Sox.
I mean, the Yankees are getting it back together at the right time. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. So
I mean, is it a little too early? We don't know yet because it's so hard to predict October baseball. We saw the Dodgers, one of the best regular season teams of all time, get swept in a wild card series 3-0 by the Arizona Diamondbacks 2 years ago. And I think that about sums up predicting playoff baseball in a nutshell.
The Mariners are hanging on there. The Mariners are hanging on. But
Seattle
on paper.
Seattle on paper is a very good team.
Yeah.
Seattle's results, I think, are a little below what the talent should be able to provide for them.
Well, their pitching hasn't really looked up to par. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The pitching hasn't been as good as I think it probably. Not that it should be, but
yeah, it should be. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they were a lot better on the mound last year. The bats have improved a lot this year. Cal Raleigh is a huge reason for that, obviously, but I think the pitching just needs to be a little bit better for them.
They have a plus 17 run differential. That's not good, especially for how good of a pitching staff that they have. Should at least be in the 50s and 60s.
Because in past years, if the bats would have just picked it up even to league average, they would have been a World Series contender. And this year, the bats are better than league average. And I don't know what's going on there. The pitching falls apart. Feels like they can only have one or the other up in Seattle. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. The Dodgers still in the third place spot, third wild card spot. So they
Do
have
them
to
and the
host
Padres play anymore this year, or are they done?
You said Padres and Dodgers. Let's take a look. All right. I think that's it.
I feel like the MLB should try and schedule them for a series in September because their
Yeah,
records
that's
are
it for
usually
them.
pretty similar.
Yeah, they don't play the Dodgers anymore.
Yeah, the Dodgers play the Pirates tonight. The
The
Brewers play the Pirates this weekend, which is a series they need to win.
They're going to have to face Skeens again.
Dude, I'm so what we faced Skeens 4 times this year. Every series we played against them, we faced Skeens.
The Cubs dodged.
Oh no, Skeens is pitching on Thursday.
Oh, he's pitching Thursday.
Pitching against the Dodgers on Thursday.
Nice.
So it looks like we're probably gonna avoid him this time.
Well, hopefully, unless they hold him back and say, you know what, we'll give you an extra day of rest.
I hope not.
Hopefully they don't do that.
Because we cooked him last time, but we're not gonna cook him again. There's no way. We can't cook him 3 times in one season.
That's impossible.
How did the Cubs face him at all this year?
Did they face him twice? I think once or twice.
He's someone I wouldn't mind getting out of our division. I will say that.
Oh, I agree. I think.
I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but man, I hate facing against him.
Oh yeah, I agree. 100-mile-an-hour fastball will definitely do that to you. Hopefully, he comes to the Cubs at some point. But
as long as you can command it.
Yeah, there's neither here nor there though. Well, with that, we're gonna do our final thoughts.
I just wanted to say, Gabe Davis just re-signed with the Bills again. Good for him. I mean,
wow.
I don't think he should have ever left Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't think he should have left.
He's a good deep threat. That's what he's good for, and I think he's going to play that role pretty well with the Bills again. The Jags expected him to be a little bit more than that, I think, and he's a role guy. He's good at his role, and I think he'll help the Bills in that way this year.
Yeah, I can agree. My final thought. Yeah, I mean, best time of year is here. Just ready to get started. You got your
Mammoth hoodie on.
Yeah, just ready to get started. You know, they gave this to us for free, and I love that. Love free gear.
Perks working for an NBA and NHL team, I guess.
Yeah, they just give out free stuff all the time. In about a month in October, they're going to give us some more stuff from this. They're going to give us some more stuff right when the season starts. So October 1st, I'll have some more apparel on. So that's beautiful. Hopefully, I can get full time soon. So
yeah, fingers crossed for you on that.
Yeah, I'd love to get benefits instead of having to come out of pocket with it. But it'll come out of my check. But I mean, having steady hours of 40 hours a week, knowing what your salary is, I'd love salary, and knowing how much you're getting paid is beautiful. So the season is here. I love it. I'm excited to get started. And, you know, the NFL starts this week. You know, next time we do a pod, we'll be doing it on game day, which is pretty amazing. You know, so.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yep. So subscribe, like, share, and comment. Follow our podcast page on other platforms. The links are in the description box below. We do have a Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're on Spotify, come over to the YouTube side and subscribe and watch us video-wise and interact with us live. We will post reels and shorts of this show, and we do have polls and question boxes that we can answer. And with that, you know, this is Shot of Sports. We'll see you Thursday.